everybody, welcome to the channel. So this is the very long overdue part 2 to our Faraday video that we shot almost a month ago. We apologize. We're going to try much better in the future not to have such a time gap between two-part videos or multi-part videos. But if you didn't get a chance to see part 1, we'll put a link in the description to that down below this video. What we're basically looking at is what you see here in front of the camera is a lot of the products that we tested in that last video, from designer RFID and Wi-Fi blocking bags to RFID blocking credit card sleeves. We had simple Mylar bags or aluminized bags, all the way up to more fancier boxes that were designed to hold electronics, key fobs, anything else you wanted to put in them. The purpose of a Faraday product, of course, to recap, is to stop the receiving and transmission of signals from your device or from external sources being able to connect to your device, for identity theft purposes, tracking purposes, blocking GPS signals, all those type of different things. So in part 1, we tested all of these products, which were a wild success. There's no doubt about that. Every one of the products did exactly what it was meant to do. However, these products, being professionally made, are also extremely costly. Now, there's definitely nothing wrong with the quality. If you have the opportunity and the desire to own these type of products, definitely worth the investment. No doubt about that. In video 1, you'll actually find links to where we got most of these products. But the purpose of this video is to show you how to make improvised versions of a lot of these things. Some of these things will be more cost effective. Some of them will be based around the idea that if you don't have access to these, what can you make out of household items or commonplace things that might work effectively? The idea of a Faraday is basically putting a metal signal blocker between your device and a transmission or receiving device. So by surrounding your electronic inside a bag such as this that has a metal layer within the bag, it protects signals going in and out. Basically, effectively renders your phone dark, so that there's no Wi-Fi reception, there's no transmissions, there's no notifications going out from your phone, there's no access to your device from the outside. That's basically how these are designed to work. Some of them are rated to do even EMPs, which are electromagnetic pulses. We don't actually have anything capable of generating an electromagnetic pulse, so we never were actually able to test EMP effectiveness. Plus, I'm not real excited about the idea of frying one of my cell phones in the event that they don't work well with high-frequency EMP pulses. So, anyway, we are going to test in a lot of the same manner we did with the first video, just some homemade options. These are not going to be pretty. These are not going to be fancy. They're not going to be designer. They're not going to be cute. But they are going to be effective. At least that's the hope. We're testing them out for the first time right here on camera with you. So let's get started with some of the simpler things. I'm going to go ahead and move this box and the card sleeve protector to the side. We'll get to these options in a little bit. These here, while it seems like a lot of products, all basically function on the same principle. They're a bag with a specific liner on the inside that is designed to stop signals. Whether that be a very easy, simple, conventional metallized Mylar bag, or one of these more professionally designed bags for those that prefer something that looks a little more professional. But again, like I said, one of the problems with these is some of them can be very costly. This particular bag here, it came in a 5-pack of multiple different sizes. You're talking $30. Some of these bags were up in the $20 range themselves. Some were a little bit cheaper, like these ones. You got 2 for $10, and so there are options out there that are cost effective. And I'm not saying that any of these are or aren't cost effective for what they do, but in the event that you couldn't get these or didn't have access to them, and you wanted to try to build something similar out of homemade products and readily available things that you might have around the house or the garage, that's kind of the point of this video. So we're going to start with this bag here. Again, we're not going to go through each individual one of these because they all work on the same principle, and in part one we showed that every one of these was incredibly effective. This product here, this is a Mylar bag. It's a metallized bag. They're usually multi-layered. They have a type of plastic on the inside, then a metal layer, then another polymer plastic outside. So they're usually triple layer. Sometimes they're more. Pretty decently heavy duty for these bags. You're not going to tear these bags physically. I mean, we've actually sold bags similar to this, and we had a guy who was a 300-pound bodybuilder give it his all, and he couldn't tear these bags. Yeah, you definitely damage them, but they're pretty sturdy, and they come with the advantage of they're Ziploc sealed, so they usually provide a moisture barrier on top of a signal blocker. So the way that we tested these last time was we had two devices. One that we're going to use to call another one that is being sampled in these different homemade options for Faradays, and see how well they work. So this product here, professionally made Faraday bag, at least professionally labeled Faraday bag, very costly. I got 5 of these for close to 30 bucks. Now granted, they did send me some very big ones, but there's other options, and I'll show you a couple of them. These here are the same exact principle. These are a multi-layered bag with a polyethylene inner layer, a plastic outer layer, and a metallized layer in between. They're not quite as heavy duty individually as this one, but here's the difference. Bought in bulk, usually in a case of like 25 or more, these guys were 30 cents a piece. Whereas this guy, on average, for how many we got for the cost, was about $5 a bag. These are available everywhere. They're Mylar food storage bags. The biggest difference between these is they have a gusseted bottom, which allows them to expand to hold more stuff. This one here is just a flat bottom, but of course you can get Mylar bags with just a flat bottom, any design you can think of. The key is you want one that has no viewing window, no clear plastic. You want something that is metallized throughout the entire bag. So we're going to set this one aside and talk more about this stuff here. Another thing that is readily available that you're going to see us using in this video to duplicate, not only testing these off-brand Mylar bags, but also duplicate the same type of signal blocking effect in some of these improvised devices that we have, is this guy right here. This is nothing more than a roll of heavy-duty aluminum foil. This is going to be your cheapest option to create a metallized barrier in any type of object, in a box, in a bag, anything like that. So, you know, they're readily available. Almost every household already has them. For this case, we did choose heavy-duty ones because they are a little bit thicker, even though in some of these cases we will use multiple layers as an attempt to further protect our devices. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to use all of these devices, these homemade or improvised ones, in the same manner that we did in the last video. We're going to use a receiving device and a calling device. And just to give you an example, because once these are inside the devices, you may not be able to see or hear, or well, you'll be able to hear, but you won't be able to see if the device is connecting or not. So I'm going to make a quick call to this device here. This is the one that we're going to test in these products. The reason we're choosing this is an iPhone 12. What's significant about that is this is the first production iPhone that has a 5G antenna in it, which of course most 4G operates on a 2.4 gigahertz signal versus a 5 gigahertz signal. So if any device is going to be able to thwart one of these homemade items, it's going to be this one here, because it can receive signals that are much stronger than this one, which is only a 4G device. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and make a call here, and we are going to give you an audio sample of what you will hear if one of these devices fails. I turned it over so it kind of dumbed the sound down, but basically what it is it's the theme song from The Exorcist. So real easy to recognize, no mistaking what you're hearing, and we will test the products that way. So if this works, what we should find out is that this device, because the network cannot find it inside these products, it should go straight to voicemail. Even if it doesn't, we should not have any ringing on this device, nor should it say missed call in any way. It should just look as it went in, no notifications received, nothing like that. So, anyway, Mylar bags, metallized bags, aluminum foil, great products to have to create some of these things. These are, again, improvised devices. You're not going to get anything pretty out of them. Other than a professionally made Mylar bag like this, some of the things we make may only be one-time use because to get your device back out of them, you might have to tear them apart. So, recreating the concept here, the very first simple thing we can do is we can test out these food-grade Mylar bags that are aluminized. Now, this bag is considerably thinner than the actual professional Faraday bag. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this device in the smaller one and then put that in the bigger one. And I know it's kind of sounds like cheating because you're like, oh, well, you're using 2 bags instead of just 1. But overall, we're talking about 72 cents worth of bags versus a $5 bag. So we're going to give this a shot here. We'll drop our 5G device in to this first one and we'll seal it. We'll drop it into the second bag. These are the same thickness, same properties. However, they are just different sizes, which you can purchase these bags in any size you want to fit a laptop, a tablet, anything like that. Waterproof, because they do zipper seal. So this is going to be moisture proof, which means if you're one of those people that wants to bury a device or even be able to put a device in something that maybe it's going to get exposed to rain or floodwaters or anything like that, you should be able to get that same effect out of here. So the device is inside this bag. It's two bags, obviously, not just one. The other bag, the professional one, did work with just one bag. But we're going to we're trying to see options that work and take the steps necessary to make them work and see if they're still viable options. Regular Mylar bag. We're going to go ahead and give our device inside the bag a call and see what happens. Okay, so we got the call to go through. So that means this phone is connected to the network. Now, whether or not the network can find this phone, we don't know. But, as you can tell, there's no sound coming out from inside this bag in any way. Which means these 33-cent Mylar bags basically did the same exact thing that you got out of the much more expensive, professionally labeled Faraday bag. So there's a good option for you. Like I said, these are everywhere. Most food preparation companies online, you can buy Mylar bags on eBay, Amazon, 1,000 different places sell them. Looking at this bag, or this device here, as you can see, no notifications of any call missed or received. So there you go. There is no connection between these two bags. Now I'm going to bring these Faraday bags back out in a minute because they're relevant to something else that we tried. But we're going to set these aside and kind of look at some other options here. We talked about the tin foil being a great thing. Here's another one that you can do that's very simple. You can simply just wrap your device in a couple layers of aluminum foil. For time constraints, we kind of already made something like that. This is a wrap. The edges are rolled. We made a pocket to slip a device in. This is a little bit thicker than 1 or 2 layers. This is actually 4 layers by the time we wrapped it around and folded the edges over. But again, the concept is drop it in here. The metal surrounds your device, blocks out any signals. Excuse me. This is going to be a one-time use because you're going to destroy this thing by trying to use it over and over and over. But in a pinch, it should do the job. So let's drop this guy in here. Let's roll the edges to make sure that we don't have any gaps in the metal, that would allow signal to penetrate the aluminum wrap. Very conspiracy theory, tin hat looking, but that's the concept. Stop the radio waves, stop the RFID, stop the Wi-Fi, stop the GPS signal. So let's go ahead and fire this guy up here and see if we end up with the same results. So I'll put the call device on speaker so you can hear when it connects to the network. This is an older phone, so it does take a little bit of time. There, we're connected to the network. Seems like we've got a pretty successful signal block out of just using a, not too much aluminum foil, which, as we know, is fairly dirt cheap. So that's a cost-effective option and very easy to put together. The nice thing about aluminum foil is, if you're going to do a wrap like this, is you basically size it for whatever it is that you need to protect. So if it's a tablet, you make it a bigger pocket. If it's a laptop, an even bigger pocket. Again, as you can tell, when you go to open this, it pretty much ruins the ability to use it multiple times, but it will definitely get the job done. So there you go. A very ugly but very effective aluminum foil pouch. So those are some bag options to replace the designer bags that are a lot higher dollar. They're not like I said, they're never going to be as pretty as something that you buy professionally, unless you're very crafty, which I am not. So you'll have to deal with the crudeness of them, but the point is to be effective, not to worry about how pretty it looks. So we're going to set this aside and kind of move into some other things that we tested in the last video. One of the ones that I really liked in the last video was these little professional RFID sleeves. These are designed to slip your credit cards in. If you have any credit cards that have this 4 quarter circle lines, starting small and getting larger, on your credit card, that means your credit card has an RFID chip in it, which means an RFID reader can read your credit card. Why is that significant as far as security purposes? Because currently there is no regulation against the purchase and owning of an RFID reader. You can actually get them fairly cheap. And so anybody walking close enough to you can pass their little handheld RFID reader past your back pocket. And if your wallet is in there with unprotected cards, that RFID reader will pick up the information from your card. What an RFID is designed to do is just store information. It's not a tracking device. It's a radio frequency identification, which means when that electric pulse from the reader gets within close enough proximity, it is enough electromagnetic energy, maybe not magnetic would be the best word, but it's enough electrical energy from the signal to temporarily activate the chip in your card, causing the chip to transmit the information that's on the card, and the reader will pick that up. If it's at the gas pump, like where we tested these last time, the gas pump then takes that information and knows who to bill for the gas that you're about to purchase. So we went to the same gas station and we tested at the exact same pump in an attempt to stop any type of variance or variables that might taint the test. And we did this by, again, these are homemade. We created these. They took about 2 minutes to create. RFID sleeve protectors are not an expensive item. This is one of those examples where we're not really trying to save you money. We're trying to give you options in the event that you don't have access to a professionally made product. As you can see, we just took one of our smaller Mylar bags, cut out the shapes and sizes we needed, sealed them, and basically duplicated the professional product. This worked out really well. We will show you the results of that. We'll do a cutaway to the test that we did on these. Alright, so here we are. We're at the gas station. Same gas station that we did in video 1 where we tested this professional card sleeve protector, RFID blocker for credit cards. This here is our homemade one. We're at the same pump, same station, so there should be no variances. Let's see how this works. First, we're going to run the card in the protective sleeve across the RFID scanner and see if we get any results. As you can see, the touchless RFID scanner wasn't activated, so now we will do it without the card sleeve and see if we get the same results. And there you have it, folks. The homemade card protector worked. You saw the RFID scanner activate without any sleeve protection. So just as good as the originals. All right. And yeah, so there's an option there as well. Again, using a very simple 33-cent bag to make multiple of these, whereas these were about 10 bucks for 5 of them. So again, not an expensive option, but if you're crafty or you're handy or you just want an easy do-it-yourself project, there you go. Now, one of the other ones that we were actually quite impressed with was this guy here. This is a Faraday Box. Nothing different between it and a bag other than having rigid surfaces. It had the same type of liner within the box. Obviously very designer looking, very jewelry box type looking. We wanted to duplicate this as well. So we did this, and we're going to do this in a couple ways. We're going to start out simple and then get up to something a little more complicated. One of the first things is, because your ultimate goal is to create a metal barrier between your device and the outside world, you can achieve that doing it multiple ways. In your garage, for example, this is one of paint cans, empty paint cans. They're a really good product to use for something like this. They're all metal around the outside. They are metal on the top. The lid is soup cans. Washed out soup cans. If they're a large enough soup can to fit your phone in, you can put your phone in the soup can and rubber band a layer of aluminum tape or aluminum foil over the opening of the soup can. Basically create the same effect as a box, but in a can. You know, those are again not going to be the prettiest option, but they are going to be effective. Not a lot of waterproofing available options in boxes or cans or anything like that. While a paint can, if you push the lid down hard enough, definitely will provide some moisture barrier protection. Also does make it a lot more difficult to get your device out. So if you're not looking for a long-term storage device, the Mylar bags are probably still going to be the best option. The credit card sleeves are obviously not built for phones, but they're a great option for protecting your information within your wallet. If you're somebody like me who's not a big fancier of the aluminum wallets, the hard case wallets that people put their credit cards in to protect them. So anyway, we have a couple ideas here. Then we're going to try out on camera to see if they work. The first one is this guy right here. This is a metal or aluminum baking tin. Comes in a 2-pack, so why separate a good pair? We'll keep it 2 together to give us more layers. 89 cents at the grocery store. Pretty cheap. Now, some of these will come with a lid, but the lid is typically a plastic lid on top. Not going to serve the purpose that we want to, but what we will do is we'll put our device inside of it. Again, our trusty friend, aluminum foil. Make sure you have a sheet that can cover all of it. And roll it around the edges just like you're going to bake something in the oven with it. I don't know how this will work. We're going to test it out. The concept is pretty much the same. Metal on all sides. Obviously it looks much more like a pan of lasagna than it does a Faraday box, but again, we're just attempting to duplicate the functionality, not attempting to duplicate the aesthetics. So let's see if inside this it will do the same thing. Now we know that it worked in the foil, in the aluminum foil bag, the crude bag we made, but that was 4 layers thick. This one on top of here is only 2 layers, so we'll see what kind of effectiveness we get out of that. So we're going to go ahead and call this device, again, using a 5G device. So we're calling, put you on speaker so we know when we connect to the network. We are connected to the network. No sounds, meaning no signal is being received by a device. Just for the sake of the video, we'll make sure everybody knows there is no trick photography to this. We'll rip this right open. Here's our device, and we will go ahead and give it a call outside. Came right out of the bag, or our improvised box. There it is, receiving signal. Fairly quickly, I might add. So, there's our notification that we missed a call. We'll clear that out. So there you go, simple. Probably 2 pennies worth of aluminum foil and an 89-cent baking pan, which you can get these in any size. And if you want a more permanent one, you could get ones that are made out of tin, like a cookie sheet. It's going to be a little more pricier, but it's definitely going to be more durable. Again, our point was low-cost options if they're available, plus making them out of stuff from household items. So that was a success. I like that. That worked pretty well. Very easy to do. Another one here, this is a little bit different. This one here we started from a wooden box. Very time-consuming. It was definitely much more cost-effective than the professional box. Again, not very pretty looking, but very time consuming to make. So if you don't have a lot of time on your hands, definitely, if time is money to you, then definitely look into a professional product. If those professional products are not available, this one would work as an option. I'm going to show you the inside of this. So what we have inside here is, and if anybody's ever worked with this stuff, you'll know why this took me 2 hours to do. This is aluminum tape. It's foil tape, often used for like heating ducts and air ducts of all sorts. What we did was we completely wrapped this entire box. We're talking about the outside, all area on the outside, all area on the inside, even the little edges around here, we completely wrapped. Now, this does have a gap. You're not going to have an airtight closure between this, but we're testing to see if it can block mild radio transmissions and signals to a device. Obviously, there's a potential risk with the edging around this in the event you're dealing with super ultra high frequency tracking or signal detection. But what we did, and you might be able to see it, very ugly looking, you can definitely tell that it was tape, was afterwards we went ahead and sprayed this whole outer part of this box with a truck bed coating in a can, just to, give it a little more durability. Still chips a little bit, but it's designed to keep the tape from peeling off on you. On the inside, we didn't do that. You definitely could. We chose not to so that we could kind of demonstrate what the box looked like in its entirety. So we'll give this guy a shot here. Again, 5G device going into the box. This was definitely more cost effective than the professional device. It was, however, not as cost effective as some of the other things that we just showed. The main one being is that you got to have a wooden box. Aluminum foil tape, good quality aluminum foil tape, can be pretty pricey per roll. Of course, we didn't use the whole roll, so you can use it for other projects, but unless you have this particular stuff sitting around your garage or around your basement or your storage shed, it's not really as good of an option, particularly when you think about the cost isn't that much of a savings over a professional one, and the aesthetics are gross. I mean, there's no denying that. It's definitely not a pretty box. But is it effective? That's the point of all of this, so we'll go ahead and give this one a call as well. So we're back on speakerphone. We're going to wait for this. We're going to wait for this to connect to the network and see if we get any sound coming out of the box. Which I really hope we don't, or I wasted a lot of time on this. Seems so far so good. Definitely blocking signals. Nothing going through, so we'll go ahead and hang up the call. Check our device. Again, no notifications that anything was received. So the box definitely worked. Again, if you're one of those people that time is money, this is not your best option. Although it is going to be your most durable option out of the ones, and definitely your most reusable option. The bags are reusable, but eventually they're going to wear down much faster than opening or closing your box will. So, you know, if you want to store your keys or any type of key fob that has RFID signaling or anything that could be copied by a mimicking device, this would be a good option, and it gives you space. So you can definitely put a much larger object in there, as you saw. And with this one, what's nice is you can pick any size you want for fairly cost effective. I think I paid $8 and I got 3 different size boxes. This one here, definitely much more expensive, and I had a hard time getting a device inside this box. This one, when we tested, we actually had to put the 4G device inside because it was the only one that would fit. So again, you can buy these boxes in any size you need, but your price is going to be exponentially higher when you're doing a professionally purchased and manufactured product versus a homemade one. Not very pretty. Doesn't really please the eyes, but it serves its function. Now, again, the whole point of all this is protect your device by surrounding it with a metal barrier. Some of your other options are going to be ammo cans. If you have ammo cans laying around, those are a steel can. Steel is definitely a good signal blocker. If you've ever walked into a warehouse, warehouses are not solid steel boxes from floor to ceiling, but that steel will cause the signal on your device to drop significantly. The paint cans are a great option. When you get done painting the kids' room, wash out all the paint and save it. It gives you an option. If you've got a 1 gallon size, you can easily drop these in. I do have a paint can sitting around here. Here we go. Unfortunately, this is only a pint size, and I cannot get neither the 5G device or the 4G device to go in it, so we're not going to be able to test this one on camera. If I had a 1 gallon paint can, I would definitely love to do it, but concept is still there. Just being more rigid, it's going to give you a more permanent option that you can use over and over. The last thing that we're going to try, and we'll have to do a cutaway to it, is, have you ever noticed that you have magnets are able to stick all over every side of a refrigerator or a freezer? We are going to next test, we're going to clear a shelf off in our fridge, set up a camera and a light in our fridge, and test if we can connect a call through a refrigerator. The walls on a refrigerator are insulated. They usually do have a layer of metal in them. Sometimes they have a layer of metal on the inside as well. A lot of them, newer ones, are plastic, but here's the thing. If you have a shelf freezer or a chest open top freezer, you can get them in various different sizes, so you actually have the potential of creating a ready-made Faraday box that you can store much larger amounts of electronics in the event that you need a community usable size Faraday box. Most people that have dead fridges and freezers will let you take them just for the price of hauling them away. Then you can strip the components off the backside of it and recycle those, get a little money out of those, and have basically a functional box. In a lot of cases, the older it is, the better it's going to work, because, you know, Things just aren't made the way they used to be, but you get a much thicker metal, and there's metal on the backside because they need heat shielding from the electronic components and the compressor and all that. The sides, as we know, are metal because you can stick magnets all over them. The one weak spot I could think of potentially in a fridge or a freezer is the gasket that goes between the door and the fridge. Usually that has a magnetic strip in it so that it will attach to the door and make a seal, but the gasket itself is usually a rubber, and depending on how thick it is, might have an impact on signal being able to get through. So we'll test that out and we'll see how that works. We're going to have to set that up in a different location than here, of course, but let's see how some old appliances might actually work as a Faraday product. Alright folks, there you go. So, just be innovative. There are plenty of things around you that you can be used for this stuff. Some of it is going to be cost effective. Some of it is going to be very time costly. Our box looks ugly as sin, works, but it did take a long time to buy. Mylar bags, very simple. Used one to cut out our signal blocking credit card sleeves. We also used regular Mylar bags, and that worked perfectly. We use pie tins. You can use paint cans. You can use ammo cans. You can put aluminum foil over a crock pot. I mean, just all kinds of options available. Before we go, there is one more thing that I want to test. And this is something from the latest Terminator movie, which was called Dark Fate. Sarah Connor was in that movie, and she made a reference to hiding her phone in bags of potato chips. The reason for that is potato chips are foil bags. So now they are very, very thin foil bags. So how effective they'll be at signal blocking, I don't know. They might work decently okay for signal dampening, but if your goal is to block all signal transmissions, we'll see if a chip bag can do that. So let me set this stuff aside here. Here we go. A medium-sized bag of cheddar and sour cream Ruffles chips. Show you the inside of the bag is completely foil lined. This is done for freshness. This is done to keep the bag airtight. This is done to keep light from penetrating the bag, which there's a lot of foods out there that UV light can be damaging to, cause them to spoil, taste differently, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and slide my phone inside the chip bag and test the Terminator Dark Fate theory that you can use a chip bag to block RFID and tracking signals. In goes our phone. We're going to roll this over a couple times to make sure we don't have any gaps. Then give this a couple seconds because this is a thinner material, so if 5G is strong enough to penetrate this, it doesn't matter how long it sits here, but we'll make sure the phone is done receiving any signals if they are being blocked. Let's give this a call and see if the potato chips become not only our tastiest but most economical way to protect your device from electronic surveillance or whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. I'm not hearing anything, which I'm going to be honest with you, surprised me. I didn't expect that result out of such a thin little bag, but, 5G phone, signal can't penetrate it. There you go. A tasty snack turned into a useful product. So anyway, that was a lot of different options on there for creating Faraday products. Again, the one thing that we are not capable of testing is EMP protection. And I am not willing to guarantee you that any of these things would work on something like that without being able to put a live test in front of you. So, some of them definitely say they're rated for EMP. Whether they are or not, I don't know, because that's a difficult scenario to duplicate in a controlled environment. So, anyway, block Wi-Fi, block GPS, block cellular signal, block RFID on credit cards. All a thumbs up. They all worked. The improvised ones all worked. The professional ones all worked. Put your money where you want it for sure, but you do have cheaper options. You also have more expensive but much more designer options. And there you go, folks. We appreciate you hanging in with us while we made part 2. I know it was a long time coming. We'll try to do better at that and any videos that end up being multiple videos in the series. But we hope you enjoyed. The products work. The improvised products work. The professional products work. Everything worked. So thumbs up on all of it. Appreciate it, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.